Welcome to Legend of the Clan 2022 between former champion 2021 Theo and new champion and challenger Sterling Irons. We're heading off on the Faroe Islands campaign and the battle is about to start. Now we chose this map for this particular competition this year because it's a brand new map. Each side has the same lineup. We've got 2 DDs, 2 cruisers, and 3 battleships, one being the competitor's battleship of choice. We can see going out that Sterling has chosen the Zeton, and so has Theo. So they've done their research on what can do some brawling, some torp damage, some good long-range HE. And of course we've got the domination set up here, so they've got to control those caps at the same time. Now we've got Theo going in on the Alpha side and Sterling going in on Bravo. And in a moment, about 10 seconds, we'll see game 1 of what should be a 3-game match. However, Theo does have a 4th life, which he may use at any time. And here we go.
Battle starts.
Alright, when we head to the south side of the map at the moment, we've got Sterling in the Bravo point. His bots are automatically going off to A, as they should. Get that A cap underway. And Theo in the north at the Alpha spawn. Same again. Nothing exciting there. Going to take some time for those BBs to wind up those engines and get into place. But as we saw in the semi-finals, quite often we noticed that the competitors were moving with their fleets to begin with, only to break up and start doing crossfire as the bots went into some sort of self-destruct mode. We'll see if that happens here, but given that this has got a lot of islands and a hell of a lot of navigation to go around, and those BBs are very slow, it could be a bit of a time before we see a really good gunfight happening. And unsurprisingly, we see that both DDs are in cap. However, Theo's DD out the front, the Lightning, seemed to be a bit faster, so good cap on there for him. A few seconds ahead. But they're all ploughing in. Now this is where it's interesting. We were trying to work out the other night if they've got some sort of control over their fleets through command controls. And Sterling reckons he did. Theo didn't comment, so maybe there is some sort of point here whether they're going to split up or not. But at the moment, it really looks like they're setting up to camp. Alright, so the bot lightnings are going out to spot. CAs, Hipper, are doing some supporting. In the case of Sterling, both his DDs have gone out, which is rather unusual because you can see that we've got one breaking off here, which does look to me as though Cam is controlling his fleet through point command. And Cam has moved off with one DD, one cruiser, and looks like he's taken his BBs with him. So there's just a small force here over at Bravo, and Sterling has decided to push. Bots are going into a controlled battle, but Sterling is remaining with them. Baltimore breaking off, Amagi and Vladivostok staying in control with Sterling. Looks like the Lightning on Cam's side is going to absolutely cop it in a few seconds. It'll be the first loss in the game. 3-second difference in the game, and now it's changed quite significantly. First loss to Cam, to Theo. See if there's any casualty here from the torps that went out just before it died. But both DDs are engaging the Hipper, and to be honest, they're doing pretty well. They're actually dodging pretty well. The Hipper has retreated. Theo's decided not to push over to Charlie, but he has left a force going over there, a Kagero and Baltimore. Now that's a stronger force than the single Baltimore coming from Sterling. Sterling is remaining on a push front here, and unfortunately I think that means his Lightning is going to cop it, but it's doing it because the Hipper on Theo's side has run aground. I don't think it's going to make it. I'm pretty damn sure Theo's going to nail that with his Zeton, and the Hipper's torps are coming out. Having said that, the bot Hipper on Sterling's side has an open day on both the Hipper for Theo and Theo himself. Theo under fire, First set of damage. Sterling still full health. We have a loss here. We've got the second lightning down. That's on Sterling's side. Points pretty much tied. 3-second buffer towards Sterling. Now, the big swing here. We see that the big force that went over to Charlie is going to successfully cap by the looks of things. However, Sterling has very cleverly saved his bot Baltimore, although it will cop a random torp, it looks like. No, it dodges. Well done. But the cap points are now in Theo's favour. Baltimore out wide, and crossfires have worked to take out the Hipper. So on Theo's side, that means Theo now dropping in points, has 2 caps, so still comfortable in a lot of ways, but definitely losing some firepower here. Big worry for Sterling is that the Baltimore is out wide. If it's seen by that Amagi in a moment, it's going to get blattered, and it's got to deal with the Baltimore and Kagero coming around the corner. Quite a lot of fire that it's going to have to deal with. See how that goes. Having said that, the camping force at Alpha has worked very well at picking off ships. Damaged Hipper for Sterling, but actually navigating itself out of the way quite well. Theo trying to get it down on the side there, but giving away his position. Baltimore stuck in the middle is avoiding the Baltimore and Kagero, but moving back towards the Amagi, which is having a field day on it. Not quite getting the sits that the Amagi probably would have wanted, but still doing some damage. Guarding those caps well. We see Sterling break off here now to going to the Charlie cap. I think he wants to try and pull off those bots, leave the Baltimore as a bit of bait while he does his work. Meanwhile, the Hipper bot is trying for a sneak cap, and I think he's going to get it. Oh, no, there is crossfire coming in from Baltimore, but no, didn't reach it. And we have a B cap underway from a bot. So we've got a big lead that's starting to grow now for Sterling, or I should say a moderate lead. However, he is going to lose his Baltimore in the middle there. I don't think it's going to survive much more than 2 or 3 hits. We see a push coming up from the Vladivostok and the Kagero now. Hipper is completing it. It has completed its cap of AB. We have 2 caps now for Sterling, but we've lost Hipper. 2 ships down a piece. Score still fairly close, but 60 odd points will add for Sterling. Sterling's gone rogue. He's trying really hard now to get down the other 2 bots sitting off into C. He's doing all right on the secondary front on Kagero, and he's getting some good hits on the bot Baltimore. 2,555 HP to go. Should get that down. And remarkably, his own Baltimore is still alive in the middle of the map. We see Theo coming back now towards the enemy bot fleet. There is a Kagero sitting off there. We just saw Sterling take out Theo's Baltimore. That brings him up again some points there. He's now working hard on Kagero. And you know what? He's going to get it. This will bring Theo down to 3 ships. Remarkably, his Baltimore is still alive in the middle of the map. How that Amagi has not killed it is amazing. And, yep, Theo's taken out Kagero. 3 ships left for Cam. Point score now getting into the hundreds. We've got a 140 odd point difference. We see that now, finally, Sterling's Baltimore is probably going to die to the Amagi. But the Kagero has snuck into the middle, shot some torps, and done absolutely no damage whatsoever to the enemy Vladivostok. Theo, on the other hand, recaptured Bravo. 2 caps back to Theo, and he took out the Baltimore in the mid that's just been gagging to die for half the game. We now see Theo and the Amagi bot go at each other a little bit. Vladivostok for Sterling, unfortunately, has run aground. It is absolutely useless at this time. Meanwhile, Kagero is going at the Amagi, and I think it's trying to make a run for Charlie, but it's doing it at great cost because that Amagi could blat it. It's got its torps off. Whether or not it was accurate, we'll see. Meanwhile, Vladivostok on Theo's side is pulling away, and it is being useless at this point in time. Theo deciding to charge up a little bit. I think he's trying to get a ship down. Being gutsy, he's going 2 to 1. against the enemy battleships. That is that he is the one and they are the two. Meanwhile, Sterling's Kagero still powering on, being hit by a Margi but surviving, dodging those bullets and making it to the Charlie cap with Sterling. We could see another cap change here. Now, I have to say there's a bit of desperation going on here with Cam. You can see with Theo, you can see that he is trying to help his bots out and getting the Kagero down. Certainly trying to do a bit of a reset there, but it didn't work out. Meanwhile, I think he's trying to close for torps on both Vladivostok and Amagi and hoping their guns, which I believe are facing another direction, are not going to turn to him. But the secondaries for Vladivostok have now come onto him. Its guns, if we're getting close here, are definitely facing towards Charlie, so he knows he can take that out with a few solid hits, which he's doing. Meanwhile, the Amagi staying dark, waiting for Cam to close. Torps are away on Vladivostok. I think they're not going to be any good. Looks like they're going to hit the island, maybe. Might get one or two on. No, to be honest, I think he fired them too early, but his secondaries are going very well. Guns are facing the other direction. He'll kill it. Yeah, it looks like two tops on and Vladivostok is gone. Sterling is in the lead. 3 ships apiece. We've had another cap change. Sterling now holds 2 caps. And we see another ship go down. Now this time we saw Sterling take out the Amagi. That means Cam is operating with his own BB. And the bot Vladivostok, which at this point in time has turned around, is starting to re-engage. But it'll be interesting to see because we've got not just Sterling on it, but Kagero. That might be enough to take it down. 3 ships for Sterling, including a DD. 1 ship now running out of Alpha, which is the Amagi for Sterling. However, it is re-engaging with Theo. Guns have not turned, or no, stern guns have turned on him. This could prove a problem for Theo. Unlike the Vladivostok, I would dare say it's going to give a little bit of a fight. Torps have gone out for Theo. Going to be interesting to see what damage he gets here. Amagi's doing the right thing and turning away from them. So we have an interesting situation now where Sterling and Theo are now in contact with each other. It's finally happened. Very similar damage to each other. Theo slightly down a little bit. But the Amagi's got that crossfire going on with stern guns on him. And that's helping Sterling out while he can use his secondaries and engage Theo. Left the Kagero to its own devices. We can see that the cap points are working in his favour. This is a good strategy for Sterling. Time to break off and forget about the enemy bot. It's not looking good for Theo in this first game. We can see that he's on fire, lots of permafires, down to 22,000. Sterling quite healthy at this point. Amagi doing its damage well. We can see that Kagero is going to go in to the Bravo cap, take 3 caps, and then that will be it for game 1. It looks like it's going to be Sterling in the first game. Not much to be said here really, because Theo looks like he's about to run aground, and I don't think there's any way back for him here. Kagero going into Bravo quite nicely. Vladivostok is shadowing, but no chance that it's really going to do much in spotting Kagero. Mind you, Sterling is getting hammered by Theo's guns. So he's taken a risk here. He's going all out, but I think he's doing a calculated risk here because he knows there's not much time left on the clock here, and the other Bravo cap is now secure. He's also stopped Theo from capping his own, but you know what? It's coming to the wire here. They're each on 3,000 hit points. I'll tell you what, whoever's got the heal is going to win this fight, but they may not win the battle, and Sterling has gone. Cam gets him down, but you know what? I think it's too little too late. Amagi is hitting big shells into him and took him out. Both of our challengers are out of the game. It comes down to a bot win. There's no question here that Sterling has game 1. 3 caps covered, Vladivostok out in the open. It's really a matter of whether the bots stay alive for the next 30 seconds. Kagero giving its position away, charging Vlad, but certainly tying up the time. 20 seconds left on the clock. Amagi not even moving, just sitting there, waiting to see what would happen. Probably doesn't know where to move to because it can't see Vladivostok. Well, then again, it should if the bot was relaying information. But it looks to me, with 7 seconds left, it's a very clear and strategically well-won fight to Sterling. 0-1, back soon.